So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be making a tree of life of our own. So the way that we're going to start our tree of life is by holding our paper tall ways, so we can fit in a whole bunch of different details. So once we have our paper turned tall ways, you need your pencil. We're going to start off with doing the trunk of our tree. So you can I start a little bit upwards on my paper, and I'm just going to do tree trunk at the bottom, and then I'm going to turn this into a whole bunch of branches. And what you're going to do is just go up and over, and then skip up a little bit, and then go back in, and that will be how we do our tree trunk branches. So I'll show you again. You're going to go up, and then you're skipping and over, because we're going to connect our branches to these like empty spots here. So trees don't have to be perfectly symmetrical. So I'm just going to go up and create another one, and over. So it's almost like we're just connecting the different branches, and you can get shorter and longer. Don't make them too skinny, because you want to fit some neat patterns in there. So I have 1 branch, 2 branch, 3, 4, 5, 6. I do want to maybe have a few more, but not too many. And maybe I'll just do a branch sticking up the middle. So it doesn't really look like a tree right now too much. Kind of a little bit if you look at it really hard. But what we're going to do next is we're going to add the swirls, like the spirals, like our artist did. So the way that we are going to do that is you can go start at the bottom or the top. I'm going to start down here. You're going to connect the line, and you can make this one going curling up, and you're just going to take your time, make it a nice swirl, and then you'll go to this branch here, and you're going to trace along that. Do your best to leave some space, tracing along the shape and the curve, going around, and meeting the end. So we have our first swirl. Another way that you can do some swirls is, instead of starting at the bottom of your tree branch, you can start at the top one. So maybe you want to try it like this way. So going down with your spiral, and then connecting from the bottom, and then going up the side, round and around, and like that. So it looks kind of funny now, but when we add a whole bunch of more swirls and spirals, it will look really cool. So when you want to do an upside down spiral, I like to start on the top. And when you want to do a spiral going upwards, I start on the bottom. So you can also go back in and add some swirls coming out from here, like little branches. So you can do some little ones mixed in there. And the reason we're doing it in pencil is so you can erase some things. So you want the branch to be coming off of the other branch, so maybe make a little eraser mark, like erase where it meets up. And you can have a whole bunch of more things like that. So I'm going to go off and do a few more swirls. Once you guys have a good amount of swirls on your tree of life, you can add a ground to your tree. So you don't want to just draw a line coming straight out. You want it to look like it's in the ground. So you want to put a ground behind it. So I'm going to start over here and just kind of make it a little bit rounded off. go kind of through the tree, down, so then it looks like it's kind of on like a mountaintop maybe. And if you want to bring your tree down a little bit, you're welcome to, because remember, trees like grow into the ground, like with their roots. So what you can also do is you can add a bird to your tree. So this is an option, but it is a really cool thing to do. So I'm gonna this looks like a good spot here. And remember, you can always erase if you don't have a proper spot, or you can just add it in like small. So one way to do a bird would be to do a head, a beak, and then they kind of have long tails and they have like long bodies. So maybe you want to do the feet kind of on there, and then the body, and then the tail kind of like hanging down maybe a little bit. And this is going to be colored in black. So when we do color it, you won't really be able to tell that it was like just that I'm erasing things. So it kind of just looks like a long-tailed like bird. You can add owls, you can add butterflies, little birds. This is your tree. You can make it however you'd like. I just have one bird, but maybe you want to add more than that. So after you have your tree of life, maybe you added like a bird, then we're going to start to decorate it with patterns. So the way that we're going to do the patterns are going to be, I like to do it just every branch is kind of a different pattern, as much as I can like think of, and then I can kind of like repeat them if I run out of things to do. So one pattern that the artist used a lot was circles. So maybe on the tree trunk you want to do some pattern by doing like some half circles. And remember, patterns, they repeat, so I'm repeating my circle shapes, and I'm kind of making it a little unique and just doing like lots of little circles and big ones. And then maybe I want to do like one more up here. So these don't have to be exactly the same, they're just like a bunch of circles within circles and stuff. So just like making like a pattern of circles kind of going up my tree, and then maybe I'll turn it into squares going off of a branch. So maybe some squares here, and I just like to do them as much as I can before it gets too small, like it kind of just like fades off into there. So I can still fit some here, but as it gets smaller it's going to be really hard to color in later. So you can kind of just imagine that they get like super small, and you can even color these in like black, white. Let's see, we can also do stars as a pattern, just repeating it. Kind of getting them a little bit smaller as they go. You can also do triangles. And remember, you can put these wherever you want. I'm gonna try to flip them around a little bit each time, like so upside down, right side, upside, just to change it up, make it more interesting. And you can do these wherever, you can choose whatever ones you'd like. And I'm just filling up my tree with different patterns is all. So another pattern that we can do, maybe, let's see, maybe some swirls or like some letters, or more circles are always good. But I'll try some swirls. Maybe you want to do some zigzags. It's not quite a pattern, but it does form almost like triangles that repeat, and patterns are things that repeat more than 3 times. And if you get stuck, you don't have to do every single branch, but it looks really cool when you do. You can even just do some things that are simple like dots. And if you want to repeat one that you really liked, maybe you like to do the squares, you want to do it somewhere else, that's completely fine. And I have 2 more. can just do some circles, little ones kind of going up. And maybe just like some lines. Maybe this one I'll finish off with, let's see, another one I could do. Maybe I could do some ovals. There's a whole bunch of shapes you can do. Pyramids, diamonds, stars. Just repeat them. And I have my weird circles here. They kind of look like eyeballs or moons, some of them, but that's okay, because when I color it, it will look really cool. So that's how we would decorate the tree. You are welcome, like I'm going to show you, I'm going to do some leaves on the bottom. So I'm going to imagine that some patterns are falling off the tree to be my leaves. So maybe I want to do some half circles down here. Because it's almost fall time. It is fall time, sorry. So you'll want to make it look maybe like some of the leaves are falling off the tree. So you can do some different shapes falling off that tree. Maybe some squares. You know how leaves kind of pool at the bottom of trees when they fall down. And what else we can do is like maybe even just like some spirals that fell down here. So this project is all about like patterns and shapes. So down here you can turn these into patterns, or you can kind of just have them be like leaves that kind of fell down on your tree. The important part is to have the patterns in the tree, just having those shapes repeat as they go up, just so we can have the swirls and decorate it with those patterns that are really cool. All right, and then that's how you would draw it. So thank you.